ceremonies, Nathan Cassar.
Well, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Justice Plan Weddings podcast show, the place where we bring the most exciting and innovative trends in the wedding world. I'm your host, Nathan Cassar, as always, and today we're exploring something that's quickly becoming a must-have at weddings. We explored this in a previous season, last season, and it's back again, content creation. And I've got the perfect guest to talk about it, Lauren Church, founder of Shared with Love Socials. Now, Lauren might be a little new to the wedding industry, but that shouldn't fool you at all. She's already making a huge impact. A full-time journalist by day, Lauren has turned her passion for capturing wedding moments into a social media phenomenon. What started as a side hustle has quickly become a vital part of any modern wedding, and she's here to share exactly why this service is becoming an essential part of every couple's big day. From providing professional level social media content to complementing other wedding vendors, Lauren is revolutionizing how couples share their special moments online. She's even managing to capture vendors in their element. Today, we're going to dive into the importance of social media at weddings, how Lauren's service is making wedding videography more accessible, and how couples can leverage social media to make their wedding memories even more impactful. Plus, we'll look ahead to the future of social media at weddings and how it's going to change the way we all experience and share these magical days. Lauren, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, thanks for having me. What an intro. It really feels so special.
No, of course. Of course. I keep saying this in so many episodes, but I do need to do a montage of people saying that exact phrase. It's just nice, I guess. I must be in the right game as an MC when I'm giving people a good intro, right?
Yeah, no, you would definitely do well as like a reference check on a resume.
Well, good. I'll be more than happy to. I'm the hype guy for all my wonderful couples, and be more than happy to just, like, is that like, how like there's that app Cameo where you can just get celebrities, you pay them to like say something. Maybe there needs to be like a hype app where you can just get people to call you and hype you up. I think I'm going to start this anyway. It started right here. This is my evidence. Yeah. So, Lauren, look, you're new to the game. Tell me, how long have you actually been in the wedding industry?
Not very long at all. This was my baby from June, and I remember that because I started it the day after my son's first birthday. So it was like 2 babies together. But I decided to start it just because for my own wedding. I was reflecting back on my own wedding because it was actually also near my wedding anniversary, just about how I didn't really have anything from my wedding. I did have a videographer, I did have a photographer, but I had nothing accessible that was quick to kind of access to relive those moments that I just always go back to, especially around that time of year. The photographer and videographer were fantastic, but they took weeks to get back to me. And even now, I'm such a stickler for IT. I struggle to find them in my phone, or like the videographer is like a 2-hour download, and of course I won't save it anywhere. However, I have videos on my phone that I always flick back to years ago, and I just sit and watch, and I like binge watch my photo album. It's like a video of my dog. I'll sit and watch it. It's like my own personal TikTok. So I just thought about how I never had that. And content creators were such a new thing when I got married. I got married in 2022. So it wasn't really here. There was like little buzzings of it in America, but it wasn't really prominent here in Australia.
Very true, yeah.
That's kind of why I started it. I saw there were other content creators doing it. I reached out to some to get some advice about how I started, and they were fantastic, which was another reason why I really loved the idea of joining, because there was no gatekeeping. There was just this absolute like love bomb of information coming my way when I thought people might be quite guarded. So yeah, it was a really kind of organic thing that kind of took place. I started to chat to GPT, like business name ideas, until I came up with mine on my own, because I just loved that idea of sharing something that you love with someone that you love. Like it just kind of snowballed into that. So yeah.
No, I love the passion you bring into it, because I mean, look, it's you described a beautiful community of other content creators out there. And I will say that, look, and this is no specific negative comment, but out of all of the various groups of niches amongst the wedding industry, I will say that content creators are particularly, at least in my eyes, particularly homely and friendly and accepting and sort of, as you describe, like this, they're welcoming because, and I think a few friends of mine have described it, the fact that because it's such a new niche, they're having to basically redefine, but also they want to create, they don't want to tear down the concept of friendship between videographer, photographer, and yourself. Like there's actually a much more of a collaborative sense to it. And so, being the nice guy is not just because it's, financially, business selfishly, it's because you guys really do want to become part of something bigger, even though you're quite infant as a niche itself. So I 100% can speak to what you said there. But I think it's also just generally a credit to yourself that, you saw a gap in something that you specifically weren't able to access for your own day. And therefore it's go and fix it. And I love that you just seem so passionate about it. How does it feel every time you get out there with your phone and put this all together for couples? Like, what's the feeling like?
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor don't take it very lightly that I'm being brought into someone's day. I'm being brought into memories that they're going to cherish forever. And I take really important it's really important to me that I do everything I can to ensure that day goes smoothly, because I could make or break someone's day. It's so easy to make a mistake and just be the story. Like, I don't want to be the story. I want to tell the story. And when I go to someone's wedding, I'm in absolute happiness. It's no happiness that you can experience anywhere else on earth. Even though I have a child, this is I get away. This is my break. I go to people's weddings.
I love it. I love it so much.
I could send them to grandma's, but no, you stay, I'll go to a wedding. But there's been times where I've been so wholesomely welcomed by brides and grooms, and there's been times when a bride has told me you're my unofficial bridesmaid, or you're a member of the friendship group, and that just melts my heart so incredibly much. It is like any other feeling on earth. And I've gotten the chance through my journalism career to tell some really amazing stories and speak to really amazing people, but getting to talk to these people who are just absolutely so happy on the biggest day of their life, I think that kind of takes the cake for me.
Well, I think that's beautiful, and I would encourage you to never lose that shining sort of glint in your eye. I mean, I would say, as someone who's not lost that either, and I certainly get asked the question all the time, like, "Oh, would you get sick of it eventually?" And I go, "Well, 170 weddings so far. Nope, definitely not sick of it. I mean, it's been my life for a long time." So, no, look, I really, really love that that you have that passion. It really is coming through. So, don't ever lose it. That's all I can say. I've got to say to you though, bringing it back for a second, I know that it's a fact that some photographers and videographers listening right now are still just the elephant in the room. And I spoke it in the last time I had my last guest, who was also a content creator in last season. There is an elephant in the room that some photographers and videographers potentially aren't as thrilled that there's a third person wandering around the room. And so, but yet you've done a very, very unique thing, which is to really make sure that you build those relationships with your photographers and videographers by capturing them in their element and helping them to be seen just as much. There's the story of them coming to the wedding just as much as them capturing the story of the couple that you're all there for. So could you share us that United Nations democratic outreach, so to speak? Like, how does your service complement other vendors on the day, particularly videographers and photographers? And also, how does it enhance the overall wedding experience for both the couple and the guests?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was really kind of nervous about photographers and videographers when I first started. I was worried I would ruffle feathers or I would step on toes, and that's really not what I wanted to do. A lot of the time, this actually pertains to brides who can't afford a videographer. They're taking that out of the budget and therefore missing the entire opportunity to have their video, they're captured on video. So a lot of what I do really kind of helps bridge that gap. But when I do work a wedding with a videographer, I'm really conscious of the fact that they are the star and I'm I'm the second wing. I'm there to capture the behind the scenes, whereas they're there to capture the cinematic element. Every time before a wedding, I reach out to both those vendors, a photographer and a videographer, and I just say, hey, I'm really not going to get in your way. I'm here to help. I am here to be a friend. I know there are some content creators that do have a habit of getting in the way. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. There's enough stories out there that you're not wrong. So
yeah, but there is for every vendor, right? Like,
yes, true.
Vendors who are like the catering and they make people sick with their food, and there are florists whose flowers die way too quickly. I don't know.
Their MCs that make it about themselves. No, right? Like I absolutely there is a negative side to each, and not a negative side, an opposite coin, a side of the coin. Yeah,
exactly. And there have been times where I've had a photographer in their contract say no other content creators or none of that's allowed, and
oh goodness,
the couples kind of got back to them and said, hey, this vendor is really cool. They're going to be fine with you. And once I got there, he was great. He was really excited by the fact that I actually captured him photographing the couple and was able to airdrop that to him so that he was able to use it for his own marketing. So there are definitely pros and cons of having us there, but I think the pros always outweigh the cons.
Yes.
Speaking as someone who comes from an industry that is extremely on the like right now, it's you can't kind of fight against these changes because they're going to happen. Brides and grooms want this service at their wedding. They want that accessible, quick turnaround to relive their day. They want to show their friends and their families, look how hot I looked. They can't do that with your videography because you're going to take forever to edit it, because you should be able to take your time with that. It's like made under pressure. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah.
No, you're fine. You're 100% correct. And I think what I love about this is that just like our photo booths at one point in time allowed for couples to also, I mean, realistically, photo booths were to some degree the answer towards really expensive photographic packages that they couldn't afford either. So they're like, okay, let's package it up in one little booth and make it fun and make an experience. It's not a complete overhaul of it. Just like now what's coming out is like these apps where guests can upload from their phone and stuff like that. That's still never going to be a complete takeover of the photography side of weddings, just as much as yours is not going to be a complete takeover of the videography side of weddings. I've worked with plenty of content creators who have been side by side, as you described perfectly, rather than it being some form of, complete takeover, like, step out of the way, content creation is the future, eat my dust kind of thing. So I love that you're obviously hyper aware of it. And I know I can speak for many others that I've worked with that they're also very hyper aware of it too. So, and yes, as a vendor, it's always cute when we get like a little drop and they're like, oh, we actually got this thing. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like it's great because we all want to work together, and they're 99% of the industry is ready to, to pull up our sleeves and just make it a great day for everyone, including the people we're working alongside. You spoke about the money before, about the budgeting side of things. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, particularly if you're looking at couples who are going, great, okay, wow, I didn't know the content creation existed. Yes, it seems like something that could be a great alternative. Mm-hmm. A couple of things in that, though. Yes, we save money. But what are we potentially, quote unquote, losing out of that? And then secondly, by going with a content creator instead of a videographer. And then secondly, overall, for any couples out there that may be fearing that they might be losing opportunity to capture memories by going with someone like yourself versus a cinematic photographer, a videographer, what are sort of your comments to them about sort of to relieve their pressures and their stress over that?
Yeah, I think that my kind of framework is that something is better than nothing, because photos are fantastic to have, but photos don't move unless you're in Harry Potter. They will spark a memory, but the rest is on your mind to kind of bring back that memory. Whereas a video, you're able to watch the memory unfold before you. And our memories are so fickle that one day we're going to get old and one day we're not going to remember things as well. And it's like we have this access to this 500 plus videos, because you also get all the raw footage from a content creator of exactly how it unfolded. You're able to relive it. And of course, videography can do the same thing, but videographers pick and choose what shots look best. They don't pick and choose off what matters to you. And I think that's the real difference. I think they complement each other. They're completely different services. I worked in TV for a little bit, and social media was like the machine that got people to switch the 6 p.m. news on, or the programming that you're wanting to watch. They showed you snippets of the show so that you would tune in for the rest of it. So social media is this absolute gun that every other industry is really leaning into. I think weddings need to do the same, because brides and grooms are using social media in their everyday life. It's reflective of who they are. And videography doesn't cater to that. It's in a completely different dimension. It's longer. I remember when I got my video back, I was a huge fan of TikTok. I love TikTok. And my biggest goal on earth was to get Taylor Swift to notice me. And I had elements in my wedding nodding to Taylor Swift. I had massive cardboard cutouts of her. And my dream, I sent her an invitation. Like, my dream was just to get validation from this complete and I got back my video, and it was 2 hours long in the wrong dimension, and I had to sit there and kind of edit it myself to be able to post it. So I think that it's the same but different. Like, it's different font, if you will.
No, absolutely. No, I think you're 100% correct, and I couldn't agree with you more. And look, as we're just talking offline before we started recording about our mutual alumni from University of Wollongong, and in fact, both part of the same faculty, but just you went the journalism route and I went the marketing route. But I think, speaking as someone who understands exactly what you're saying, I think it is 100% vital that the industry recognizes that while cinematic video does have a place, and I love, just to be clear, love the work that I know. I have plenty of friends who are videographers in this industry who produce some incredible content, particularly same-day edits, which is still a very big, powerful part of the videography world that is now becoming a trend, and you can't do that with the social media creators. So there's definitely a disadvantage there and an advantage on their side. But the point is that you're right, that marriage, so to speak, of both, rather than them being seen as both exclusive, binary, and or can't have one or the other, is a much better vision of the future, particularly to save you the stress of having to go through 2 hours worth of content just to post up something that unfortunately still lacks a bit of nuance, right? You cut up a cinematic video, you're not going to get that kind of context that comes from whatever was before and after. So can really appreciate that. Now, you've got a background in journalism. In fact, this is what you do full time still. You obviously, journalism is about capturing the story. And so how does your background in journalism specifically influence how you approach and create the wedding content for couples?
Yeah, I think it gives me a little bit more of an attention to detail. I pick up on things that people might not pick up on. I find
like what? I want to see this. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have this real fascination of couples that hold hands after they're married, because it just kind of symbolizes so much, like the unity and like the fact they've not seen each other all day and they're finally together, and touch is such an important concept of that. I focus on that. Like, every time I see them touching hands, I'm getting ready to film. And then also the little elements of that couples might not recognize as something that's significant to them until they watch it back. I had a couple the other week that I didn't put it in because she was like, I really don't want it in my video, but I still wanted to capture it so she would have it. They're vaping, and I just thought that was so cute. Like, it's
the
just
what?
Like,
sorry, I missed that. The what?
They kept using their vapes. Like,
oh, vaping, right? I thought you said taping. I was like, that's not controversial. Yeah.
I just was like, it's just like such an everyday thing in this like really vast day. I just thought it was so sweet, and so like showed the humanity of it.
No, but I love that though. There is this idea that, I think both specifically to yourself, but also generally amongst your ilk of content creators, is that, the ease of simply whipping at your phone, and, these days it's just a flick of the thumb. It's not, you don't have to unlock it and you already got access to all the capabilities on it, is vastly, quick and efficient compared to, oh, hang on, just got to turn on the camera again, got to make sure the video, the battery's right, the settings right, the lighting's right. And again, not that any of that's a bad thing, but your ability to react almost instantaneously to these kind of things that sit within a vision is much sort of just it's so much more reactive than what videography can ever really produce. So no, well, that's phenomenal. What would you also see is in terms of the way that couples respond to your content? Is it when they come to you, are they saying, I want to become Instagram famous and be found by Taylor Swift, or is it just, what are the expectations like of what couples are saying to you when they come to you?
Well, it's never that. Almost all my brides have private social media accounts. They're not big influencers with millions of followers. They're just the average day person. I don't think they even post half the stuff I make. They just want it to be themselves. They want to be like me, binge watching my dog. They want to relive it and feel like they're the main character. And they get it, and they simply share it with their friends and their family. And they
see, that's a really curious part of it, because I think you've opened my eyes a little bit to that too, because I think before talking to you, I would have just assumed, mainly because I haven't broached this conversation with my other friends in the industry yet, but I would have assumed naturally that if you're going to go get a content creator, you're then going to get the content and that's been created for you and then share it, like race to share it on the platforms that you have, and that's why you go do that. But you're telling me that in fact, you are attracting a lot of people who just go, you know what, like I could do that, but I just am more interested in the medium that you're capturing in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's like definitely a mistitled job description. I think it's more like you're a memory capturer. Like, the guy in Thor that stands at the gate and prevents the aliens from getting into Asgard. Yeah. I feel like I'm the Idris Elba of weddings. I like to just and like capture everything and just give it back to you in its raw, unfiltered form so that you can relive it. Because I know from my wedding, I didn't pay attention to a lot. It was just the day was going so fast.
Oh, so quick.
And like, there are times where I had couples watch back and be like, I can't believe you got that. Or like, you were literally a stalker the whole day. And I get that a lot, that I'm a stalker. And I'm like, I'm proud. Like, it's
maybe you should rebrand as, Sherwood Love Socials professional stalker,
I'm sure that would look great on a business card, but
just a lot of photos of you hanging out of bushes and, random other seedy places,
I'll get like a full camouflage get up.
Oh, I'd say now we're talking here.
Yeah. I'll be like the journalist with the hat and the newspaper.
Oh yes, like a Dick Tracy style kind of way of going about it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Look, Lauren, it's such a delight to talk to you. I love your passion, your energy, the smile. Like, if you're only listening to this, folks, like, you've got to watch the video because you'll be able to just see how beautiful Lauren is in the way that I can tell the genuine flavor of that. She loves doing what she does. I've got to ask you before I give you a couple of rapid fires. We always do for everyone. We're going to wrap this up, but I could talk forever though with you. You said that you've met the Queen before, our unfortunately just passed Queen Elizabeth II. How did that happen?
Oh, I was like, I still don't know. People don't believe me, and it takes a good few. Like, yes, it happened before they actually started. Maybe.
Well, here's your chance to make it more solidified to the world.
My mom's the one's like, yes, it happened. So I went with her when I was little. I was like 3, and Queen and Philip came to visit us, and it was at the Opera House, and I was behind the barrier, and some lady gave me her flower, and Philip came up on our side, and the Queen was on the opposite side. You know how they kind of go up the gates?
Yes. Yeah.
Shake hands and all that kind of stuff. And Philip lifted me over the barrier and walked me over to the Queen to give her my flower. And
wow.
And then my mum was like freaking out because I exited on the other side of the barrier.
Oh, no.
Through the crowd, I was like this little 3-year-old, and I kind of was like on him. I was like, oh crap, my child, like Prince Philip, effectively just kidnapped my kid. So I had to I eventually reunited with her because I'm here.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really fun. And my sister said that it was on the news. I have not been able to locate it though, even though I worked.
Ah, it's a shame.
Yeah, so it was really fun, apparently.
Well, I believe you, Lauren. I believe you 100%. In fact, my brother had an encounter with this. He actually does have the photographic evidence to prove it, though. He had an encounter with Mary Donaldson, Princess Mary of Denmark. Yeah. And the funniest part about this whole story, I'll have to post it up someday because it's just a funny story, is that we all went, he was so enamored with her when she came out as she was in a process of a coronation after she'd been coronated. And she came out to this particular hospital, got with the school, my primary school had organized all these kids, and completely they dodged all these kids. Obviously the schedule had changed. So we went on another alternative day, very early in the morning at a hospital. And long story short, she came over, specifically interacted with him, not that she didn't know what happened before, but then to make it all great, he got into the paper on the magazine, I should say, on like That's Life, those kind of magazines. Wow. And the best part is my mum, my dad, and him very clearly visible. Me, I maybe got like this much, like in the photo itself. And so I just said, that was the start. That was my villain origin journey of like saying, you know what, I'm going to make it to magazines one day. So
yeah, it's very Monsters Inc. You know how in the ad you have put over his face.
Oh goodness, it truly is. Lauren, I've got a couple of questions for you that I've not made you privy to so far. I've got to ask you, you capture a lot of great stuff. So like, what is the funniest thing you've seen so far?
Oh, probably the ice cream van. A couple had an ice Mr. Whippy, like classic.
Oh, like the bells and the ding 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 coming. Yeah, okay, wow.
Really fun to see. And the funnest part is when I go back to my Monday to Friday and I'm like, guess what I got to do this weekend? I got to be at a wedding and a Mr. Whippy band turned up and their minds blow because they can't even fathom that. So I think
amazing. You wait till you do a wedding that you have a jumping castle at, and I've had it twice.
Oh, that's a dream.
I know. It was great. I just needed someone like you to be there to capture that moment that I walked into there and said, "Kids, get out. It's my turn."
Do a flip. Like, love that.
Oh, gee, I don't know if my pants will survive that one. And finally, Lauren, do you prefer indoor or outdoor weddings?
Ooh, it depends on the weather.
Okay. Let's imagine that it's a day where it's both beautiful sunny day and perfect conditions. Neither would be wrong to choose. Which would you prefer?
I think the outdoor wedding. There's just something really lovely about being in nature and the contrast with the colors of a white dress, the nature, and like all the guests coming together outside. I know there's bugs, but it's still the bugs can fly away. Like it's just magical being outside, and also kind of brings back the whole fairy tale-esque of it, right? Like Disney.
I love it.
I don't know, yeah.
And I totally agree with you. Couldn't agree more. Lauren, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. You're a real delight to have joined us for season 4 of the Just as Planned Weddings podcast. Could I ask you to tell our lovely listeners, if they've made it all the way this so far, as I'm sure they have, to tell us all exactly how to find you, how to book you, and how to invite you to their birthday party just because you're a cool person?
Oh, I would love to come to your birthday party. But you can find me on Shed with Love socials. It's literally the handle. On Instagram, Facebook. I have a TikTok account as well. Or I've just gotten a really groovy new website, which is www.shedwithlovesocials.com.
Fantastic. Well, folks, you heard it here first. This is the scoop that you needed to hear today. Lauren, thank you so much for joining. I sincerely hope that our paths cross. I know that we just recently did, but it was at an expo. So I'm hoping that you and I actually get to work together officially, because it would be fantastic to see you in action. So thank you so much for all the energy and enthusiasm you bring to the industry, and just have a great next wedding, and I'll see you soon.
I will. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Just as Planned Wedding podcast. Please like and subscribe to let me know that you want more videos just like this one. And of course, please follow us on our socials at Just as Planned Wedding on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more expert insights to help your wedding go just as planned.